Hello, Algebra 1 students. We're going to be working on Unit 1-1 in just a minute. If you have your packet out or your guided notes, I believe everybody's using a packet, we will get right into it. All right, let me switch my camera over. You follow along with your notes just like I'm doing with mine. All right, so Unit 1, Section 1, you can write this in the table of contents. The ILO, the objective, our ILO, is translating verbal expressions into algebraic expressions. Okay, I'm going to use 2 lines here, algebraic expressions. Okay, so that's what we're working on in the first section of Unit 1, translating verbal expressions into algebraic expressions. All right, so the first page looks like this. We're going to break this up into a couple of videos. I'm going to do the basics first, and then we're going to work some examples in the second video. All right, so we have your basic 4 operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We need to figure out what words do we see when we know we're talking about that operation. All right, addition, you might already know of some, but addition, one common word you'll see is sum of. Okay, sum of, that means you're adding things together. Another expression you'll see that refers to addition is increased by. You'll see a number is increased by 5, or a number is increased by 7. That means addition. Another expression that you'll see is more than. Okay, but I'm going to put an asterisk by that because that's actually a turnaround phrase, and you're going to see that again at the bottom. But those are your big 3. Now, subtraction has some corresponding ones for that as well. Subtraction, if you think sum of, what will be the corresponding word for subtraction? That would be the difference of, or more commonly, the difference in. Difference, that means subtraction. Difference in or difference of could be either one. Now, instead of increased by, subtraction is decreased by. Okay. Now, another one, very similar to more than, is less than. Now, I know you often think of less than associated with a symbol like this, but it's often referred to, sometimes you have to read the context. Sometimes it might be confusing as to which one, but very often less than is referring to subtraction. And I'm going to put an asterisk because that's also a turnaround phrase. We're going to see some examples of that. Now, if you go down to multiplication, what words can you think of that refer to multiplication? Well, just like we had sum for addition and difference for subtraction, a word that refers to multiplication would be the product of. The product of. You could also see something like twice as much as. Twice as much as. That means subtraction. Or 3 times as much. Or 3 times as much, or 4 times as much, 5 times as much. All of that means multiplication. Now, another one, you could say half as much. That also means multiplication, but I'm going to draw a line right across here because that could also mean divided by 2. Half as much, multiplying by half, is the same thing as divide by 2. So that actually could be a multiplication or division problem. All right, so divide by 2. Now let's go to phrases for division. You see product for multiplication. The word for division would be quotient. Okay, twice as much as. A corresponding there would be maybe a number divided by 3, or a number divided by 4, or a number divided by 5. So I'll just say a number divided by 2. And again, half as much is kind of a gray area. It could be either multiplication or division, but it leads to the same thing. There's some gray area there. Now, for parentheses, parentheses happen. If you know the order of operations, it's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Addition and subtraction is last. Multiplication and division comes before that. Now, you need parentheses when you want to do addition and subtraction first because you're messing up the order of operations. Now, let me give you an example. twice the sum of. All right. Twice the sum of blank and blank. The numbers that you'll be here, the word sum is closer. So you want to do the sum first. Therefore, you're going to need parentheses or half the difference of. Half the difference of. That's another example of a phrase where you're going to need parentheses. They come up sometimes. Now, turnaround phrases, more than and less than are turnaround phrases. All right, I'm going to stop the video right now for you to make sure you've got all this. The next video, we're going to be working some examples. So I'll see you in the next video.